for us as business owners, we have to not only show up for ourselves, but it's so important to show up for our brands. Be the brand. Be the billboard for your brand.
You said that you've rebuilt yourself and your business more than once.
So I've been a mother, I've been an entrepreneur, I've been a corporate girl. I've had so many titles that at one point I attached myself to the title. But it's so important to attach yourself to you because who are you without that title?
Exactly. Happy Wednesday, winners. It is our favorite day of the week, and you are now tuned in to the first episode to Season 6 of the Ladies in Motion podcast, Talk It Out, where we shine light on women that's winning in the local community. I'm your host, Madam Walker, and I am so excited to spotlight today's winning lady on the first episode of Season 6. And she's been in business 6 years, so this is just going to be big, y'all. And this season in January, we're going to be speaking about new levels and new legacy.
Yes.
And the mindset that you have to adapt to get to new levels and reach new legacy and create new legacy. So I'm super excited about this winning lady, y'all. Last season, I was very serious about being in the rooms, and I met this lady. I'm going to have her introduce herself, and we're going to get right to it, y'all. So, Alexis, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, girl. It's an honor to be here today. My name is Alexis. I am the founder and owner of TACE Deluxe, which is a luxury wellness and self-care brand. And I'm super excited to be here. My business just made 6 back in December. So it's 2026 and we are lit, kicking it off at this podcast today.
I am so excited because something that I love to talk about that I know that you can just touch on is showing up for your business, and you are the queen of that. Even just being here today, it's been a long time coming. All last year, like once we met, we like, okay, but then
we gonna get this
I'm
done.
telling you, but when I met you at the co-working event, that's when my podcast actually pivoted for the first time because I met Angela, my editor, and I'm like, you know what, we're gonna amp the quality on this podcast. So in mid-season, I pivoted, so I'm just super excited to just kick off season 6 with this bang, you know, with the quality up to par from the get-go.
I love that for you, and just congratulations, because girl, the website launched back in December for you, and that was a big move on Christmas
Day. So much.
So you were very intentional about just kicking your 2026 off with that, amp up for your business. For us as business owners, we have to not only show up for ourselves, but it's so important to show up for our brands and be intentional.
Yes.
You see me, like, I would like to think and believe anybody who knows me and knows my brand, they like, girl, that's Miss Turquoise. Because anytime you see me, I have my brand colors on. I'm very intentional whether it has a logo or not. I just think it's super important to just be the brand, be the billboard for your brand, whether it is a business card, whether it is your attire,
I'm telling you.
whether it is, branded product. It's just always being a product of your product, and we are the product.
We are the product.
It's so important to just remember that. Like,
it is.
Yes, people buy your product, but they're really buying you. They buy from you. So if
say
you
it one more time, girl.
Okay,
say it.
People buy the product, but they are buying you. They buy from you. They're trusting you. They're loving you as the person behind that brand that's building it brick by brick. So, it's just super important to be intentional when you get into these rooms, because that's how me and my boo met.
And so we were talking before we started filming. We couldn't even believe that we only known each other a year.
Yes.
Because it feels like
forever when you meet quality people. And shout out to Jalen Graphics, because that's how our paths cross.
I love
her
Jalen.
down. Okay.
Seriously.
We love Jalen because she creates these type of spaces and she shows up for her brand. She is a perfect example of how to show up and, just really balance building multiple brands and then they still be successful. And then she fills the rooms with people like us who come in and connect and,
connect and create community and not compete. That's my favorite part.
It's always collaboration over competition. It's always support. It's always on my bad days.
Okay.
I can text you. And it's like, girl, you got this.
And when you, listen, so you said something earlier about showing up for your brand, but sometimes, it's important, like, to show up for Alexis when Alexis can't show up, like mentioning something that I love, too, is mentioning my name in the rooms that I'm not in. People that, you mentioned this, I know somebody.
Yes.
My girl Alexis got a luxury wellness brand, and she got what you need. So I love to see you in your success now, and I always say we talk about their story and how they got started, and then on to their success. So I gotta go back.
Yes, let's take it back.
Because
let's take it back.
We're talking from born and raised Cali girl, North California. She's been in Atlanta
Yes.
since 2017.
Yes.
So I just want to take it back to Alexis in California. You
Oh,
know,
girl.
when you first
Corporate girl.
corporate girly. Okay, let's get into
Straight
it.
corporate girl. But I will be honest, I've always been an entrepreneur. Like
Okay,
just
good.
California living. I love California. Shout out to California, Bay Area. The energy there is just so different. But of course, it's super expensive. That's how I ended up here in Atlanta.
Okay.
But going back, I'm a ocean girl. I love the water. Water is so healing and just so
It is.
rejuvenating. No
Makes
matter if
sense.
it's ocean water, island water, river water, lake water, they all have their own healing elements to it. Just the sound of it, you know? So
Yes.
I've always been an ocean girl to the core, and I've always just loved where I come from. And so it's only right that my business is like rooted in water, healing
Makes
waters,
sense,
you know?
yeah.
But I was always a corporate girly. I grind hard for anything my name is attached to. And, you know, growing up in California, it was cool. I became a teen mom. You know, I was a teen mom at an early age, but I've always hustled. Like I did hair. I was like known for doing hair back in the day in high school, throughout high school. And then once I finished high school, I was like pregnant. So I was like, you got to grind, got to get mine.
So I want to take it there. Okay, I want to start there because that's usually where I start my podcast interviews. Like you graduate in high school because it's usually when we're stepping into adult life, right? And you know, what was the plan that you had for yourself since you were pregnant, I guess, and about to become a mother? Like, did you even think to go right to college right away?
No.
What was the plan for you then?
My son, and you know, for many of you who follow me and watch me, my firstborn son, Andre, transitioned back in 2021. And he was my firstborn son. He was not planned. It was not nothing that I just, in my mind, I was moving to Hollywood from the Bay Area. I was about to be this cold, bad actor and do all the great things in Southern California.
The California norm? Is that normal?
Yes, like, you know, that's Southern California. So Hollywood, LA is just known for, like, actors going there. So in my mind, it's like, yeah, that's where I'm going. I'm going to Southern California. I'm going to be a superstar. Everybody's going to know my name. You know? So that was the plan until I got pregnant, which was not, like, planned for me. And so making the decision to keep my son, it came with a lot of sacrifices. Like I didn't get to graduate traditional high school. It was the judgment. It was a lot of things that you go through as a teen mom. So I was actually in continuation school where I could control my days and my time to still stay focused on my education, but at the same time deal with all the pressure that comes with being a teen mom and hustling at the same time. Like I said, I had my first job when I was 13. Went into this like party store, really good energy with the owners there. They hired me. So that was like my first ever paid under the table job. And I was like, okay, I was making money, but didn't last long because I needed just more consistency, more money. So I started doing hair and I started with doing my own, and that just became a whole business in itself. And I just became the town braider.
Today's episode is brought to you by SEM Content Creations, currently a one-woman creative brand focused on becoming your brand partner to bring your bold ideas to life visually. SEM specializes in brand design and strategy that support small business growth from the ground up or through intentional reinvention. They are also responsible for our newly designed Talk It Out podcast flyer. To support SEM Content Creations and book her services, follow her across all social media platforms at SEM_create. That's SSIEM_CREATE. Thank you, SEM Content Creations, for sponsoring today's episode.
So I was going to ask you, is that something that you even seen growing up, like entrepreneurship? Like, what was your upbringing like as far as like your parents? Did they instill in you going to school?
Like, I had amazing stepfathers. I will say that. But I did not grow up with my actual father in my life. I always had amazing stepfathers who stepped up to the plate to be that. But no, my mom is from Chicago. My whole family is, honestly. So she moved to California pregnant with me. So my sister got to experience that Chicago lifestyle. But I was born and raised a California girl. And so watching her just work, she was a nurse and going to nursing school, plus working multiple jobs, raising her family, single mom until my stepdad came into the picture. It was a lot. And so I just always admired her grit, her grind, because we never went without. I never knew struggle as a young girl. I was like spoiled to the core to where it's like whatever you want, you get.
Right.
But, you know, growing up, it's like you got to work hard for that. Now that I'm a mama for it,
Right.
I tip my hat off to her like, girl, you did that.
I remember telling my mom one time, like, growing up, we thought we were rich because we just never lacked, you know, we didn't know that we were a regular middle class family.
Yes.
Like, no, we really thought we had it all, truly, because that's how the love was and the everything was. Like, we literally lacked, you know, nothing. So,
but what I will say is, like, now that I have become my own mother to my children and just looking back at my upbringing, the one thing that I will say is, like, that is stolen from you when you're raised by a single mom doing it all is the time. You know, we don't get time back. So they have to provide. And so they're, you know, in our mind, it's like, the gift giving, the receiving, and you're always receiving, so you don't feel like you're lacking until you look back and it's like they might not be sitting in that auditorium watching you. They might be able to, but you know, back then and still to this day, taking off work, being able to do that, and that's why entrepreneurship is so bold and big and great because you can control your time. But back then, working 2 and 3 jobs, you can't control your time. So you might miss something super important for your children. And you can't make up for that.
And
so,
you can't.
You know.
I'm so glad that
it's
you
like
said
building
that.
my legacy.
It really is.
I am super intentional about being present because while I received the presents, and I knew my mom loved me. I knew, you know, my stepdads loved me, but it's something different about being present for the child and not just receiving the presents, because we can receive presents all day long, but then we think and we kind of classify love as the gifts.
Exactly.
And the receiving, but sometimes it's deeper than that.
It's
the time.
It's always deeper than that.
It's the face. It's the presence, you know, not the present. So, that would be the only thing that I would say, kind of like looking back, that I wish I could have had more of was that time. But we make up for it now. Like, me and my mom is best friends. Wherever she go, I'm right there with her and vice versa. So, you know, we make up for it now, but it's,
so I'm just, again, just so intrigued to just continue to like uncover your story.
Yes.
I really, really am. So you went to college, though. Okay. How soon after becoming a mother did you decide, okay, I'm going to pursue my education and go to college? You went to San Jose State. You studied business and communications.
Yes.
So just answer, you know, why was it important for you to decide, like, hey, I am going to just go ahead and get my education? And how long was that between, you know, becoming a mother? Did you make that decision? Is that something you did later on?
Girl, let me be honest. So, you know, being pregnant, a teen mom, I did community college. And I was like taking classes at Monterey Peninsula College. And from there, it was like, okay, do I want to do this? But in the back of my mind, I'm just seeing tech. That was like up and coming for tech, Bay Area. Just, I'm like, ooh, I want that, you know? So I was working. I was pregnant. I was a full-time supervisor at a hotel. I was doing all the things, hustling by any means while, you know, pregnant. So once I had my son, I was like, okay, I got to finish school. Because, you know, they tell you, go to school, get your degree.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, no. I need the money. I want my own place. I wanted all the things. So while I was taking classes at the community college plus working, something had to give because I wanted to be there once I had my son. I was like, nah. So I actually stopped. I stopped going to school, just started doing hair full time because it was more flexible for me. I was breastfeeding my son. I wanted to be present for my son. I just, you know, I was like, right now, all this other stuff is not working for my schedule. So I did full-time entrepreneurship straight out of having my son. And it wasn't until like I would say he was about to turn like 1 that I was like, okay, you're going to keep grinding like this, like doing hair plus working plus. And I did. I did that. And it was actually the split of my breakup where I wanted just to relocate at the time. And that was to San Jose. And that's when I was like, okay, I got the credits. Because I was still taking classes. I just wasn't full-time.
Okay.
Work and entrepreneurship was full-time for me. But once I had the credits to transfer, you know, my counselor was like, you're ready. And I'm like, I don't know. I guess I am. But then I was pregnant with baby number 2. And it was like, you know, 4 years later, barely had my associate's credits and ready to transfer to get into the bachelor's program at San Jose State. So I ended up making that move.
So that's not the first time, like coming to Atlanta is not the first time you really had to relocate, which is cool.
Well, San Jose is like a 45-minute with traffic from Monterey, where I grew up. I grew up and I'm from Seaside, California, which is like a 45-minute commute from San Jose. So you got a lot of people who commute to what they call the Silicon Valley to work. And I ended up getting a job with the airlines too. So I went from hospitality to customer service. And once I did that shift and moved to San Jose, that's when I finished, started doing my classes at San Jose State and was working for the airlines, and then got pregnant with this little girl here.
And so did any time, during that journey, did you ever, say, did you ever want to stop? Just because nuggets, I always say this also on this platform, things that we experience on our path, we've kind of always experienced along the way, but we now are mastering, or you know what I mean? So the first time maybe doubt crept into you, it's probably but now you've mastered. I know when I'm being tested. I know when, because now I've perfected, not really perfected. I'm still perfecting. I'm becoming, though, a master of, in that sense, above that. So I just want to ask you, what were the doubts? Like you said, motherhood, it's not easy, and then you're pregnant with the second, then eventually you have a third, but you're already in school. Did you ever want to stop or pivot? Was
I did, though, but that's the thing. When you have those feelings, it's okay. What I like to say and believe and feel and know from experience, it's okay to pause.
Oh, my gosh.
It's not okay to stop. No, I didn't get my degree as the normal person would by just staying committed and knocking it out, because, of course, life happens. I chose to become, a mother multiple times and give birth, and, all that stuff can delay the plan, but it doesn't have to stop it. If you stay focused on your goals, you can finish them strong. It might not be tomorrow, but as long as you don't stop and continue going, that's all that matters, because at the end of the day, you're doing it for you. You're not doing it for anyone else's validation.
Exactly.
It's what matters to you. And that's why it's I will continue to go through, grow through, and get through what I have to see the goal through. You get what I'm saying? Have a plan. If you're going to stop that, start something else.
I'm telling you.
That you're very passionate about, that you won't want to stop. Don't stop it and do nothing now.
So something that you said also, that when we talked before, you said that you've rebuilt yourself and your business more than once. So because we're here, because it is okay. And then we're going to talk about just the start of business, because 6 years is big. Okay, so I would love to just hear your thoughts on that.
The rebuild, the rebrand, it's okay. We shed layers as we grow and become. Like you said, you're a master now because you've been through some things to where you know when something's creeping in, how to deal with it. You know if fear is creeping in, and you can talk that self-hate out. We ain't doing this today. Do something that's going to get your spirits back up high, because you're a master of knowing how to deal with certain situations that might trigger an emotion, right? But rebuilding is so powerful, because we are not who we were 5 years ago. We're wiser, we're bolder, we're better. You know what I mean? So it's as long as you're growing through what you're going through, you're going to constantly be rebranding and rebuilding, whether you call it that or know it or not. You're not the same person.
You are not.
And if you are elevating and that's saying something about the growth, and it's okay. I say right now, my 3.0 is loading. I've been a mother, I've been an entrepreneur, I've been a corporate girl. I've had so many titles that at one point I attached myself to the title. But it's so important to attach yourself to you, because who are you without that title?
Exactly. That's so good.
Who are you without the title? And I lost myself after corporate, because you climb that corporate ladder to make it to be all the things, all the titles. But if they let you go, what you got? How do you pivot? Who are you if you're so attached to a title? Even motherhood, the transition of my son taught me the biggest lesson when it came to detachment, because I'm so attached to my children. Being a single mom is not easy. Rebuilding from that is not easy, because it takes a lot of strength to have to wake up and be the provider, be the protector, but also try to be in your feminine energy to where you're not projected or seen as too masculine because you're forced to do it all.
Right.
This is not a choice. If I had a choice, I of course would love the soft life.
Right.
But my kids are not going to go without, and they're not going to see me throw in the towel. They're not going to see me give up. If they know anything, it's to keep going and finish strong because, life is just not built to be easy, but we got to weather the storms and come out shining. At the end of the day, we're all going to go through them storms.
Yes.
But it's how we get through it. And it's just super important to just keep going.
Keep going.
Nothing else. Keep going.
So I want to talk about, just the beginning of TACE Deluxe, okay?
Goodness.
So first of all, tell us, what is TACE Deluxe, aside from a luxury wellness brand, okay?
So
Tell
TACE
me-
Deluxe represents the Alexis Cane experience. That is the acronym for TACE, the Alexis Cane experience.
Okay, I love that.
And I say that because to experience me, to experience my energy is just, it hits different. You have to experience me. And I try to pour a little of that energy into my products, into my services, because it's a part of me. Like, I, again, growing up a water girl, ocean girl, I've always loved the water, taking baths, taking it back to, like, my grandmother's house. She would always mix different herbs, different oils, even bleach, which I thought she was trying to take my life. I'm like, girl, what are you doing,
What you
Grandma?
doing, Grandma?
Just tell me if you're trying to take me out, So taking baths at my grandmother's house was always like, I don't know, girl. But as I got older, learned a little bit more. My mom's house was always like super luxurious. It was always a mood that I could create. Like, she had furs and dresses and things. So you think of like Pretty Woman and movies like that. I would just go pour all kind of bubbles, pour my apple cider, and make it a whole experience. And just rock out. So growing up and being in corporate, working those long hours while juggling motherhood, it was super important. Self-care was always, I was always traveling for work too. So anytime I would go to a new city, or even in my city, I had a membership to a spa because that's how I would reset, recharge. Self-care was like big. And it took for one of my directors, she had to tell me you have to take care of yourself. You pouring so much into this, to your job and to this role. And I was like, I don't know what she's talking about, but I end up in a car accident that forced me to really take self-care seriously. And after that car accident and departing from the job, I went inward with TACE, and then being attached to that title, trying to figure out who I was, rebuilding, rebranding myself after that corporate life. That's how TACE came about. I was like, I will never give anyone that power to let me go and feel like I have nothing. I am something. And so, they say invest in the things that you love the most. And for me, it's like fashion and self-care. We can talk clothes, we can, all the things. It's like fashion and self-care stood out most to me. And then, of course, my grandmother, she transitioned as well. So I wanted just something that was pure and honored me and who I am at my core. And taking care of myself is who I am at my core. If I can just do anything, as long as I'm taking care of me, I can take care of others. And that others being, of course, my kids, my family, my friends.
And so did this start as a fun thing for you, something you were doing? When did you pivot
it for
into
myself,
a hobby to business?
Yeah, so it went from burnout, corporate burnout, and then COVID hitting, and I couldn't experience the spa.
Pandemic. That did it for everybody. I'm telling you,
it did it, and I was no longer able to go to those 5-star, 7-star luxurious spas. So I started creating my own stuff, and then taking it back to some of the stuff my grandmother used to do. I was trying, COVID, everybody was working out, everybody was doing all the things. So taking ice baths, cold plunge, I just started creating an experience. And I love flowers, roses, flowers, any type of earthy things, plants, but flowers, roses, love them down. And so started investing more, researching more. Couldn't get to Bali because COVID hit. So I'm like, I'm going to create my own experience. And started experimenting with the flowers, creating flower baths, creating just whole vibes. I recall my daughter's party, I think I decorated the whole bathroom, put a bath caddy, put a cake, put flowers, put roses. It started becoming more than just a hobby. So from facials to skincare to the flower baths, it just was something that I was pouring into to where I was like, you know what? I think there's a niche for this. We got a business here. I'm about to take this money, invest, and get me a spa. So that was my thought process when I moved to Atlanta. My mindset was like ownership. I was coming here to own, to get a spa because I was already on this ownership and wanting to invest and have more and something on the side, because all I was doing was traveling with the extra money. And you know, the more you travel, the more you read, the more you learn. Social media started to pick up around 2017. So it's like, I want to invest. I want more. I want my own. And Atlanta just seemed like the place to give it to me. So Atlanta. I was like, I'm coming to Atlanta. I'm coming from my spa. I bought my house. I'm doing all the things. But, you know, my son's transition really stopped that. And then COVID kind of impacted that as well. So
and I want to start there.
To pivot to products.
Because, you know, sometimes, like, again, same thing. When I came here, I'm like, you know what? I'm coming here. I'm going to grow my brand. But then life just does happen. And you said sometimes we have to go through the inevitable pain to activate power in our purpose. When you said that, that just stood out to me. So I do want to talk about, you know, Andre and his transition and just, you know, what that was like, what that did for you as a mother, as a business owner, you know, the relationship with your other children, because you do have to keep going. You know, I just would love to hear about that, because you also say that pain, you know, you turned it to a platform and into power, into purpose, you know.
Purpose,
so I would love to
power,
hear from
platform.
that.
Anybody who knows me knows I don't play about my children. And so Andre's transition was really hard for me. I'm getting emotional now because it's still hard for me. But I have always taught my children not to give up no matter how hard life gets. Andre's transition wasn't the first for me. Like, my first what I would call boyfriend was murdered on my birthday when I was 14.
Wow.
And so leaving school and having an interaction and no longer seeing him again was deep at a young age. You know, so I had to deal with grief early on, but it hits different when it's your creation. And we are kind of, I would say, positioned to think that our children will bury us. So nowhere in all of the plans that I could have had for myself or my life would I have ever imagined having to receive that type of phone call, especially when he was the last voice I heard before I closed my eyes that night. And it was literally, I was launching my website. Andre still is proud, I'm sure. I know. But I was super excited. We were texting, we were talking. I'm like, son, I'm going to turn the website on tomorrow. It's going up. I was super intentional, like the first self-care Sunday of 2021. We're going to.
Right.
And unfortunately, I got that call instead of turning on my website. And so it halted everything for me. In that moment, of course, he was in California, got back to California, me and the kids, and started going through that. And fast forward, you know, it took a lot for me. I did not want to come back to Atlanta. I wanted to know what happened to my son on the road. I just felt his spirit, his energy in California. It was a side of guilt for not being able to be there in California.
Right.
You know, as mothers, I want to save, I want to help, I want to protect. I wasn't there. You know, you deal with all the thoughts. And it just really took a lot. And I will say, like, my first phase, my first stage, I didn't have the acceptance. I didn't want to accept it. I was angry. I was mad. It was a lot of champagne for the pain kind of moments. And I just knew that there was something more to that. When I don't want to take a shower, when I don't care how I look, when I don't, you know, I don't want to show up for myself because I'm hurting. But then I look at my kids and I know they're hurting. And I want to show them something that in that moment I couldn't give them because I couldn't even give it to myself. You know, Andre is still the light of all of our lives, you know? But it was hard. And I just know. So, you look through old text messages and then you start to feel the energy. And I'm very spiritual. So I like to say transition. I don't say my son died or passed, because I do believe there's an afterlife. I do believe in energies. And I just know that the more I honor him, the more I celebrate him, the more I say his name, the more I keep his spirit alive within me. And that just gives me the grace to cope with all the things that grief can bring. And so,
it brings
after his service, and that just was a whole journey. I didn't want to come back to Atlanta. And then finally it was like doing a lot of back and forth, and the kids were out of school, and I just didn't care. Honestly, guys, I did not care. And I was angry at God. And God has always been the center of my life. I've always leaned to God for everything. But in that moment, going back to that detachment, I didn't understand.
Right.
But it took being in that dark place to understand that I couldn't do it without God, that I needed God, that everything I was trying to do on my own was only getting worse before it got better. I lost a lot of people that I would give my last to, that I honored, that I respected, that my son would probably just be so upset to see the outcome, because death does bring a lot of transformation, and not just with the person, but just with the people that are still here to grieve them. Yes. And so we went through a lot of transitions. Eventually, I ended up coming back to Atlanta, and just so happens on my birthday, I didn't even know that the website still turned on. The website has still turned
launched
on.
Anyway.
It launched on its own, like
because Andre wasn't playing with you
at all. Yeah. And when I tell you, like it was active, but I didn't know because I was so focused on my headspace was Andre.
Yeah.
But I had came home, and I remember it was me and my neighbor. My birthday is April 28th. It was like the night of the 27th. We're sitting at the table, sipping some champagne and just talking, and I had just it was something about like the ebook or something. She was asking about my ebook. She's like, sis, like, you Dre would want you. Now, a lot of people would tell me like, Dre would want you to keep going. You gotta start. You got. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I think for Mother's Day, I'm going to probably get back active now that I'm back in Atlanta. Girl, we're sitting here having a whole conversation. My phone goes off. And it's a Shopify notification. Like, literally on my birthday. And I'm like, and so my birthday is always kind of powerful to me because, like I said, like my best friend, boyfriend, first boy, transitioned on my birthday. So when the Shopify hit, I'm like, oh, y'all being funny up in heaven. Like, oh, you think you're going to be, quiet.
I love that.
We got
pushing you to your purpose,
pushing me. So that's when I started to see like the power in not giving up.
I love that.
It's like you were able to pause and really deal with it. But now that you know that this is going to be the new reality, how do we heal through it? How do you show the boys? How do you show Princess? How do you continue going? We're going to push you because we know you don't play about your business, about your kids. So that triggered something in me. I was super excited. It was like my first Shopify sale on the new website that
I love that.
And from there, I just it activated something in me, and I just started, I think, pouring into and grieving through that pain with purpose and power. It just felt very liberating to just know, like, okay, there's everybody. So once it like activated that original sale, it was like, girl, you gotta get on social media. And it's your birthday. And so from there, it just I started reactivating. And with my son graduating early, they were all like my kids and I just still on the journey to make Andre proud. But it was just still, the grief side, it never goes anywhere. Grief has no expiration date. So I just like to say that it helped us all continue to push through and find our purpose in doing some of the things that he would have wanted us to do. And it's only gotten stronger since. So TACE just turned 6. And
love that for you.
It's
Happy
a long
birthday,
time
TACE.
coming. It's going to be it just made 5 years because, just made 5 years for Andre. January 10th is his transition date. So that just made 5 years. Taste made 6. And it's been a journey, but it was super important to just kind of like pick yourself up. And it's not easy. So I'll tell anyone grieving. I know grief is different for everybody.
Right.
But when you have kids that are looking up to you, or when it's just you at the end of the day that you have to continue to show up for, it's not going to be easy. And that looks different for everybody. And it's okay to give yourself the grace and the space. It's just not okay to stop, because your loved one on the other side would not want you to stop, would not want you to give up. And they will shine through what you build and what you do. But as long as you show up for you.
Gotta show up for you.
As long as you show up for you. I feel my son's spirit stronger than ever now.
That's amazing.
And it's like now a lot of people just, even when they kind of hear my story or know that I'm a bereaved angel mom, it's like they wouldn't expect it because of my energy, because of my presence. It's a light.
Girl, you are
It's definitely a light. And he helps to shine that even brighter, with the right people.
Amen. So I just love you. You know I do, y'all. This week, like I said, we met last year. We both made it a priority to be in the room at Marketing and Mimosas. And leading up to marketing, it was a blast. Leading up to that, we were having co-working dates and things like that. So we met there, hit it off right away.
Yes.
And it made it easier, once we got to Marketing and Mimosas. Like when I seen you, I was like, girl. Right away. My girl had her roses, branding. You are just amazing. Like, you are the queen to me when it comes to showing up for your business. So I want to ask you a few things,
Yes, let's do it.
Why is that important to you? And was there ever a time that I like to say, tiptoed in your purpose before you walked boldly? And what was that like? And what was that switch moment that made you say, you know what? I'm showing up. I'm going all out about TACE. And, I'm no longer tiptoeing anymore about this. I'm full throttle with it. I want to start there.
I would say that's where I am at this present moment.
Love that.
I would say that I am no longer tiptoeing.
Amen.
And the fact that I'm about to be an empty nester, it's giving me extra energy.
I love this,
extra time to really pour in and grind for what I want. Because I
love that for you.
My motherhood title comes first. And that entrepreneurship spirit, that hustle, that drive, that dedication, just to see them through what they need to. It's like, once you graduate, I feel like not my job is done, because mom going to always be there.
Yeah.
But it's hard. Like senior year right now, well, it's still senior. My daughter graduates in May, but it's just been a journey juggling taste and doing all the things. Last year was super intense with just down to like the different campaigns. I rolled out the Pour Into You campaign this past December. Taste Turns. It's just a lot.
You've been killing it though, by the way. I just want to you inspire me. I'm telling you, Alexis, to show up for my brand, because I wouldn't have even prior to, us setting this up, you experienced grief again. Like you say, your daughter's a senior. I remember my senior year, bro. I was giving my mama a run for money.
Girl.
You know what I'm saying?
Expensive, baby.
My prom dress was a lot.
Girl.
And I was involved in all the things.
Girl.
And I was cheerleading. Cheerleading is expensive,
And trying to treat all the kids equal when it's more than one. You gotta, it's constant,
So you show up, and just on the outside looking in, like, you deserve your flowers. That's why you're on this platform. Shine a light on women that's winning, because you've been doing it. Girl, like, you're doing it, girl.
And for me, it has felt like a tiptoe. All the first 5 years have felt like the tiptoe. Because you start, you stop. You start, you stop. It was like, I started out like with a plan coming here.
Right.
I'm getting the spa.
Yeah.
I'm getting this. I'm getting that. And then I get hit with COVID. And then I get hit with my son's transition. And it's like, what we think, it just becomes a little roller coaster ride. It's like up and down, up and down. So it went from, have a whole spa to products and pivoting to COVID to this, to that. So it's just, I've been tiptoeing the first 5 years of business. And
now in 2026,
and
baby.
Now in 2026 with Taste turning 6. Baby, we are stepping boldly. We will be unrecognizable all 2026, and in a good way. Okay, well, maybe the second half, because I got to get this girl through. But girl, we are gonna, we on the last creep of the tiptoe. But it's loading. It is definitely loading. 2026, I anticipate to be very big, and I will be stepping boldly and doing a lot more, having a lot more time to really pour in, support the visions that I put on the board when it comes to my little baby Tace.
Honestly. So what would you say are some mindsets that, or characteristics, or some changes, I guess, that you feel like you are going to adapt this year in 2026 that you didn't maybe do in 25 that is going to help you get to that new level and create that new legacy?
I am very overprotective about what energies I entertain, receive, and in order to step boldly into any goal, it all starts with you. It starts with your mindset. It starts with what you feed your mind. It starts with who you follow, who you talk to, who you share things with, because some people might be clapping for you, but they're not looking for you to really see that go through.
Right.
You know, and if they are, thank you. Hey.
Right.
But then there's some who don't, you know. So
and that's okay too, right?
It's okay to move in silence and let success speak for itself.
Love that.
Everything doesn't have to be announced on social media. It's okay to brand your business, to show up for your business on social media. But everything does not have to be an announcement. Let the results speak for itself.
Love that, Alexis.
And it's once you kind of like tell your mind that, like what you're going through, and you can record it. Like I take content of different things throughout my life just to have it, because I might need it one day.
Right.
But I don't post it all because for one, it's really nobody's business. For two, nobody really cares. For three, it's like this might help somebody one day, but for right now, it needs to help me understand that this is for me. This journey is mine. You cannot take things personal because damn if you do, damn if you don't. People are going to always like it, not like it, have something to say. So I think just doing what makes you happy, following your goal, your dream, your passion is going to get you those results, because when you overshare, you invite in too many opinions.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're opinions of people who don't believe and feed their own goals.
And
so how can they help yours grow and really pour and water you if they're not watering their own? So you have to be overprotective about who you share with.
You are right, girl.
So for me, I won't be oversharing. I will be more protective because I've always been the oversharer.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you look up and you've overshared so much, this person is doing what you talked about doing.
Right.
Because you didn't have the money to do it at that time. Or this person is there. You know, so it's just like being overprotective and trust God. Talk to God about it. Talk to God about your goals and dreams. Because to me, that's the only person that's going to really help you.
I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just like, and then it puts a lot of pressure on you when you don't. If you put a date on it, like, oh, I'm going to launch this product by that day, and then you tell the whole world and it doesn't happen, now you feel like, oh, they're looking at, now you're, you know.
In your own head.
In your own
internalizing,
way.
Right?
And that's like, no, we're not doing that. We're not having no self-hate, no doubt, no
love
fear.
Love that, girl.
We're, you know. We're moving.
We marching, baby. We stepping boldly in our purpose.
We are
in motion,
stepping
baby.
boldly in our purpose, and we're moving the needle forward.
I love that,
and
Alexis.
You just gotta I just say go all in on you.
Go
and
all in mindset. That's the mindset.
I poured into being a mom. I poured into being in a relationship. I poured into all the things, being a corporate worker, showing up for everybody.
Yeah.
So now I'm just gonna pour all that into me,
and everything else goes from there. Everything else, once you take care of you, everything else, like what are you, everything else.
So you know, you look at it like I got 10 cups here, motherhood, this, that, and I'm pouring into all of them. But now I can remove some of these cups away because I'm allowing my kids to be independent.
Right.
I'm allowing, you know, corporate to, you know, maybe not.
Right, yeah.
I'm allowed, you know, it's like all these things that you can move off the plate now to the side. And so now you just got, you know, just enough cups to pour. And pour into one. Sometimes it's just that one thing. Because when you spread too thin, that burnout creep in, and then you be needing some taste.
You pouring for no reason.
You know, but no, seriously. Like, I've spent over too many decades pouring into so many cups, and by force having to balance that all. So now in 2026, I will have the opportunity to not have so many cups to pour into. And I'll be selective about the ones that I do.
Cheers to one cup. Let's
Cheers
do
to
that.
one
Cheers
cup.
to one
Yes.
cup. Oh,
Pour it
my-
into one cup and let that one, see the results
And
of
let
that
that
one.
cup runneth over. You
Let
see?
that cup
So,
runneth over.
real quick, I would love for you to share with the people, where can they follow, stay in connection with you, and what type of products, when they go to your site or your page, what kind of products can they expect to see? What can they get from the Alexis Cane experience? Please tell me that. I love that.
Okay.
I'm a sucker for an acronym, girl. So, yeah, just tell us that, what we can say, connected with you, and what you offer, and all the things. Let us know.
TACE Deluxe on all platforms, and that is TACE, the Alexis Cane Experience. So TACE Deluxe on all social media platforms. Our website is www.tacedeluxe.com. And on that website, you will be able to book a free consultation to talk services because some people, they don't know what a flower bath is
Right.
or they don't know what they want. And we do have a plethora of services when it comes to the flower baths, when it comes to a romantic getaway. You know how our road Mercedes, Me-Time Monday,
Listen,
Transformation Tuesday, Wellness Wednesday, Therapeutic Thursday, Flower Bath Friday.
She got it.
Okay, Soft Life Saturday, Self-Care Sunday. So it's so much when it
love
comes to
that.
the services
Girl.
that you can receive. So that's why I offer
Love
that
it.
free consultation so I can just get real intimate with my potential taste babes and clients and see what it is that they need. They might just need a me time. They might want to do something romantic with them and bae, and we'll plan that out and customize that experience just for them. But aside from the services and that free consultation, there's products available. So all things luxury, self-care. You tried out some of our whipped body butter. We got
It's so good.
oils,
Oh,
bath
it's
and
so
body
good.
oils. We got bubble baths. They come in cute wine bottles. We got the new scent loading for the Lovers Month. Valentine's Day is coming.
So exciting.
So we got some packages. We got a lot of things. So if you are a lover of all things luxury, self-care, or just pouring into yourself or pouring into others, there's something for you on our website. So I would encourage you to check it out, especially in this season, because we have some amazing products, services, and few promotions.
Okay.
Promotions
So
that y'all can take
follow.
advantage of for Valentine's Day and all, just in general. It's super important to pour into yourself.
We are going to get ready to wrap this up, but I have to ask you one last question.
Let's do it.
Because January, again, we're talking new levels and new legacy. We talked a lot about the mindset to get to new levels and, leveling up, but just the legacy, because you are a mother and that's important to you.
Yeah.
What do you think, or what do you hope that your children are getting from watching you be bold in your purpose and, take risks, for something that is bigger than herself and show up for your business and just be consistent in this despite grief and despite what life throws? What do you hope that your children are getting from you watching you go through this experience, and what legacy do you hope that you are, leaving for your children to witness and see, And we're going to end with that. That's a good question. Think about it. But in the meantime, if you're tuned in, I just want to thank you for following the brand Ladies in Motion, y'all. You got to stay tuned because every Wednesday I'll be right here shining light on women that's winning in the local community, okay? Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the Ladies in Motion YouTube channel, okay? Hit that bell button so next time I go live with a woman that's winning, you be the first to know, okay? So, yeah. When you think about legacy and what you are showing your children, what do you hope that you are showing them and leaving them by you just being in your purpose?
The one word that really speaks to me is resilience. Because no matter what life has thrown at me, my kids have watched me overcome it, not give up, get up, and come back 10 times stronger, 10 times finer, 10 times better, okay?
Heavy on the finer.
I would definitely just say love and resilience, because the love that I pour into my children, they watch me pour into my business. They've watched me not pour that into myself at times. They've watched me put others before me at times, but they've also watched me reclaim and rebuild that and pour it back into me. So I would say resilience is just the key, because they know growing up, it was always Lexi, make it happen. And still to this day, I make it happen. So resilience, what has been sent to break me, to burn me, to destroy so many great things about me has only made me stronger. And if anything, I know my kids will just remember my love and my resilience.
Amen. Alexis, thank you so much for coming here with me today.
And my energy, because they mama lit, baby. No.
I'm telling you, and I was going to say the same things that you're leaving that truly is your legacy, because I will remember your love, your energy, and your resilience and how you show up like every time we've encountered each other. For my
brand, for my kids, it's to know me is to love me in real life. And like, this is not a show. It's not like, I got to act like this and show up with TACE Deluxe. No, I am always TACE Deluxe, baby. It's people who don't know me.
You are the
brand.
Like,
hey, that must be your favorite color. That must, it's like, it opens the door for new connections. Actually, it is my favorite color, and it's my brand color. And it's like,
I got a little teal in my Talk It Out logo.
Hey, no, girl, we gotta get you a little. I forgot your gift, but you do have a Christmas gift that I was holding on to.
Oh, thank you.
To be continued with that. We'll have to get together so I can give you a gift.
Well, cheers to a resilient, loving, energized 2026.
Oh my goodness, because this chapter 6. And we keeping it lit. Ladies in motion, y'all be sure to tune in to support and to just keep this motion going. I'm super excited because that's another nugget that we'll leave them with. Take the emotion out of it. Stay walking in your purpose, because the purpose is where the motion is at. The emotion can sometimes cloud that motion.
Oh, I love that. Take the emotion out and get in motion.
The motion.
Okay. We're going to end this episode with that. Yes. Again, thank you, Alexis. Thank you, everybody that's tuned in. Make sure you stay tuned, because every Wednesday I got all the women that's in it right here next to me on my couch. Okay, so
amen to that.
Bye.